United States for 14 years now, but I have also lived in Brazil for about 6 years. At the time of all the protesting and chaos that is going on in Brazil right now, I felt that it was very important to make this video. I want to share this information with you guys that don't have time to do much research so you can be properly informed. I love sports, but I love the people of Brazil even more, which is why I'm strongly advising everybody not to attend the World Cup next year. The demonstrations going on right now are not just about what some people might call a petty issue about public transportation. It's more than that. These demonstrations are also the expression of pent-up frustrations regarding the plutocratic regime. After watching all these videos, seeing pictures, and reading articles about what is going on in Brazil right now, I'm honestly disgusted with how the police and government is treating the millions of peaceful protesters. Not all the protesters have been peaceful, but most have. These protesters aren't the aggressors that the Brazilian media makes them out to be. They are the Brazilian citizens that have been long oppressed by their government. I grew up in Brazil as a kid, and believe me, I have always known that Brazil doesn't have the best transportation, education, housing, and hospitals, and not to mention the disheartening amount of homeless children there. This is why it's hard for me to accept the fact that politicians are living comfortably, while millions of their constituents are living in utter poverty. On top of that, with the World Cup approaching, which is going to cost Brazil billions of dollars and would allegedly be the most expensive World Cup to date, the Brazilian government has the audacity to say this is just what their people need? Brazilians are outraged that their government is willing to spend all this money on an event and nothing on the people of Brazil, especially when they have been paying such high taxes and fares in everyday life. What do these taxes pay for anyways? They don't go to education. They definitely don't go to supplying hospitals with adequate medicine and facilities. And rarely do they pay for improving infrastructure unless it has to do with carnival or football. With this just being the tip of the iceberg, the citizens have been going out on the streets protesting, yelling out "Sem violência," which means no violence. Yet, the police have still managed to hurt the peaceful protesters by brutally firing rubber bullets and tear gas into the crowds. In the midst of this whole situation, the ones that have appeared to be the most violent have been the police. In a country that is in desperate need of education, health, housing, and overall a better standard of living, money should not be getting wasted on an event. These protests were initially fueled by a 6.5% inflation, the rising cost of public transportation, the ignorance of authority, not to mention the many other economic problems. After people saw the police's response to the protesters and how their voices were being ignored by the government and the authorities, more and more people began to hit the streets. If you're wondering why so many people are outraged and protesting, the circumstance of the situation explains it all. People are even being kicked out of their homes to make room for tourists. Yes, that's right. People are literally being kicked out of their homes and evicted so some people could watch a game of football. Imagine if that's what happened in the United States every year in whichever city the Super Bowl was being held in. House owners don't get the option of renting out their house to possibly earn a little income. Their only option is to leave or deal with an armed squad of policemen. It's honestly a joke to say that this is going to help the people of Brazil out, or that this is just what they need. All the money from this event will go straight to FIFA, not the country of Brazil. Brazil doesn't get a penny off of the exclusive TV and media rights that FIFA sells, which makes them hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. If you want to believe the lie that the income from foreigners will help boost the economy, history often tends to repeat itself. During the 2006 World Cup, FIFA estimated that fans would stay in Germany for an average of 18 games, which would spur their economy even further. Those foreign visitors that year only stayed for 2.6 games on average. Even economists in the past have said that these World Cup events are very unlikely to spur tourism. And in this case, why would anyone go to Brazil in the middle of this political and social turmoil? The World Cup and the people supporting this injustice are not welcome. The World Cup often boils down to getting drunk, throwing racial slurs to other countries, and causing massive property damage, none of which will help the country's current problems. Everybody has a voice, and it's time that Brazil and FIFA start listening. The priority of the Brazilian government should not be to look good for other countries. Their priority should be their own people. How many people need to get hurt, or even killed for that matter, before the Brazilian government begins to do something? Also, FIFA very well knows what's going on in that country right now, and they still haven't changed their plans of having the World Cup in that country. It's honestly despicable that such an organization like FIFA is ignoring all these people. The people of Brazil are demanding change, and I think it's about time that starts to happen. If you guys want to see actual footage of what has been going on in the past few days, or just want to learn more about the situation, I've provided a bunch of links in the description box below. Please share this with your friends and do anything you can to get the word out there. It's time for a change. É hora de mudança, Brasil.